Just going to try to be brief. And my approach really is the practical end of things and not as much of a planner, but getting our hands on things. And just sitting through the presentation, a couple things came to mind. I don't know if everyone knows about the city's program. If you want to plant a tree on your parkway, you have two options there. You can go, the city has a list of trees, and you can contact the city and they'll come and plant it for you, or you can go buy it yourself, and there's I think it's a $100 reimbursement on that. So it doesn't necessarily have to cost you anything to throw a tree out on your parkway, which is cool. Someone else had a question about invasive species, and I wanted to mention nightshade and add that to the list. It's a weed. It's a member of the tomato family, and it's as a landscaper, I'm obligated to remove that whenever I see it. Little red berries, looks a lot like a tomato leaf, and those should definitely come out immediately if anyone sees those anywhere. They're really bad. Yeah, we get a purple flower and the little red berry. My kids like playing with them, but man, they really grow fast. A third thing, I have an alternative to the concrete is a product called EcoFlow, and it's a resin, and it's for smaller areas. If you have a dog run or a small area by the patio or the grill or something, it works with loose stones and stuff, and you kind of set up a form for it. It pours a little like concrete, but you mix it up with your stones. It could be decorative rock or just limestone, and when it dries, it's permeable and it's clear. So you see, if it is decorative rock, you see the rock still. It'd be great for a dog run, or like I said, near your patio somewhere. Practicality-wise, I was going to go through rain gardens a little bit. We've talked a lot about them today. And disconnecting your downspouts. And I know that's a big initiative everywhere, but I know a number of people that have disconnected their downspouts, and that led to flooding. So I think it's important to realize when you do disconnect your downspout, and maybe consider, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. We're talking about ameliorating things here and alleviating the problem. To eliminate it is probably a big jump. So if you do disconnect your downspouts, I highly recommend that you put a diverter on it and some sort of Y. If you're working with rain barrels and your downspout, you obviously want to be able to turn it off in winter. If your downspout is going to be connected to a rain garden, it can get overwhelmed very quickly. A 1-inch rain falling on 1,000 square feet produces 600 gallons of water. A 1-inch rain is not uncommon. Rain barrels are 50 gallons pretty much. Do the math on it. You're going to need a whole bank of them just to absorb a little bit of water. So I'm not telling you not to do it, but you really got to think it out. Get that water and wherever those rain barrels are away from the foundation, away from the house. Get some good drainage underneath it for overflow. And have that diverter, if it's a heavy rain, sorry, but it's got to go back into the sewer instead of flooding your yard or overwhelming your rain garden and ruining all the hard work you've done. So have that switch on your downspout if you're thinking about disconnecting it, and really think it through. There's winter to think about, extensive overflow, and things like that. So Rinda went through excellent plant choices, and for a quick comparison on those plants that you saw, and we do a lot of lawn work, and lawns are maybe 3-4 inches of root at best, with most of the varieties that we have around here. So anytime you can eliminate lawn go for it and replace that lawn with something off that list that Rinda gave us. And those plants are going to thrive, very low maintenance. Building a rain garden is very simple. It's really just making a little swale, adding some rocks and the right plants in there. It can be that simple. A lot of times, a great place to start with that is the downspout that comes off the entryway for the porch in the front. It's a little more limited. You're not going to get the huge gallons to have to manage, and maybe that'll be your little trial thing for what you do with the bigger downspout that comes in the backyard. It's a great place to start, that small area in front. Great place to eliminate your lawn also is that little patch in front. So that's about all I've got. Keep it simple. I can take any questions that are out there, but think about that disconnected downspout before you do it.
We have a lawn area and the grass is just failing. I'm sure it's just Kentucky blue, and I wanted to take it out. But I don't want knee-high things. I've got small kids. I want an area that they can just play on. So what's an alternative to if you want a turf effect rather than?
There's a lot of low-maintenance ground covers that you can use. Creeping thyme is a good one.
Right.
It's very durable. It takes foot traffic. It's low growing. It doesn't need a lot of light or water.
Right.
Creeping thyme is an excellent choice there.
Okay. And then you just leave it. You don't. No mowing would be great too.
There's no mowing.
Yeah.
It's really just trimming it back because it will spread out of where spread onto the sidewalk or into a different area. But, sorry.
Can you use it to cook?
You can. You can, and it's nice too. You can smell the thyme if you step on it and smash it. A little better than like clover. I mean, you can use clover too. A lot of people are against clover, but it's low growing. It'll take foot traffic. It has a little flower.
Why are they against clover?
It's considered a weed in the lawn, depending on who you ask. Rinda said that a weed is really any plant that's not in the right place. So, do you want clover in your lawn? I don't mind it, but that's me. A lot of people like a pristine lawn. So. Yes?
I don't quite understand what the purpose of a rain garden is. If I've got a garden under my downspout, is there some reason why I should do something more like a rain garden?
A rain garden offers a little more permeability, maybe. It offers, when you build that swale, a little more containment. I don't think, I wouldn't call it necessary by any means. And I've had limited success with rain gardens. They end up kind of being a conglomerate of different things. Really good drainage with stones. Certain plants work, you have to experiment. The form doesn't always work. You got to replace plants and just see what's going to work there. So
I do have a low spot in my backyard where it always gets a puddle there.
mm-hmm.
If I put like a rain garden next to it, is that a way to allow that water to drain off the concrete?
I think you want to go right on that low spot. Work at that low spot and make it a little lower and just accept that water. Collect it there. You can put a type of French trench at the bottom of that, dig a hole with a post hole digger and just fill it with gravel, just to help with that drainage.
Okay, so the gravel is kind of key to the better drainage.
Gravel gets that stuff out really fast, and it'll get it down instead of out.
I just want to mention something. I've used Kenny's services, and by no means am I solely giving him a business plug or anything, but in working with him, I'm fortunate enough to have a lot and a half on the building where I live. And so grading becomes the sort of thing where right around your foundation, I have the luxury of being able to go up a little bit and then have the water go down. But I still, in that flood, if anybody remembers what, 2 years ago, May 2014, I want to say. Does that sound right? I'm not sure. Yeah. But I had water this close to coming in the back door of our building, and the back door of our building is this tall up compared to the sidewalk. And the sidewalk is above the lawn. So we're talking this much water that wasn't able to drain on a lot and a half. And I have a sewer backup. And I have two of the gutters disconnected. And I have a rain garden. So really, if you get nothing else out of the workshop today, just really think about, it's not going to be, when we have a rainy April and, oh, it's misty and, it's good for the plants and you're probably not going to get flooding. It's really that these events are going to become much more common. That's the one thing. And how are we going to plan for it lot by lot and block by block and neighborhood by neighborhood? So really, we're going to have to try a lot of different things to avoid the types of flooding problems that Midlothian and other places have suffered from. And so it may just start with you taking, like Kenny said, maybe just that one gutter that comes off the front slope of your porch and doing something there with rocks and changing the grading and seeing how that works. And, this is not a problem that's going to get solved overnight. Climate change, as far as I'm concerned, is 100% real, and it's going to keep getting worse, and we're going to have to, figure out how to deal with it. So I don't want anyone in this room to feel overwhelmed by the information or how intense the problem is. I just want you to start thinking about maybe, what's something easy to try out, so when we get another one of those, I think it was, 5 inches an hour, something like that, with the worst rain. I don't even remember the.
We had a 5 incher
last year. Okay, so it wasn't even 2 years ago. It was last year. How are we going to deal with that, and how are we going to save our basements and our foundations and our lots and our blocks and our neighborhoods? So, thank you, Ken.